So, welcome to the second edition of the iLearn Illuminators Forum. This weekly gathering brings together members of our global community to examine emerging signals in immersive learning and make sense of the patterns taking shape across the region's sectors and technologies. Our forum sits at the heart of our State of XR and immersive learning effort, where our community has begun actively scanning early signals from 2025 across the continents and domains. In the iLearn Discord, teams have already begun surfacing notable patterns. Sharper advances in cognitive tooling, renewed emphasis on learning sciences aligned design, and growing convergence between AI agents, multimodal interfaces, and human problem solving. The scan invites us to interpret the shifts that we're seeing and how immersive learning is evolving, where momentum is building, and where certain trajectories appear to be slowing. Each conversation contributes to a clearer, shared picture that will inform our 2025 report. This week's focus is examining advances in cognitive technologies, multimodal interfaces, and the emerging design patterns that support different kinds of thinking. Our scan looks across regions, identifying where new forms of attention shaping, reasoning augmentation, and spatial problem solving are beginning to influence practice. The week's focus has a particular emphasis on the European Continental Regional Hub, befitting our special guest and his situated homeland in the beautiful country of Greece. We will explore both promising directions and some difficult questions, particularly around the pedagogical implications of agentic AI, adaptive environments, and the shifting boundaries of cognitive work in immersive spaces. So I am most pleased to welcome our special guest this week, Dr. Tassos Anastasios Mikropoulos. Welcome, Tassos. How are you?
Thank you. Fine.
Tassos is a professor of Information and Communications Technology and Virtual Reality in Education at the Department of Primary Education, University of Ionia, Greece. He holds a Bachelor's of Science in Physics and a PhD in Optical Signal Processing. He's the director of Educational Approaches to Virtual Reality Technologies Laboratory and serves as the chair of the Hellenic Association of ICT in Education. Dr. Mikropoulos' scientific contributions have received wide recognition, accumulating over 4,900 citations. He's been the principal investigator on numerous research, development, and educational projects. And in both 2022 and in 2024, Tassos was ranked among the top 2% of scientists and researchers worldwide in terms of research impact. Anastasios Mikropoulos also ranked among the top 2% of scientists worldwide in 2024, according to the Stanford University list based on career-long citation impact and research metrics. In addition, Tassos is our general chair for the Immersive Learning Research Network's 12th annual conference, which will be held online and in Athens, Greece, in June of 2026. And he is also one of the co-leads for our European continental regional hubs for our fourth State of XR and Immersive Learning scanning and reporting effort. So welcome, Tassos.
Thank you very, very much for your nice words. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Thank you. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to get together in yet another forum. We've been
Yes.
collaborating for quite some time, over a year now, on our 12th annual conference, and I think in this interim that I think we both have come to see each other as good friends and in addition colleagues. So
Yes, I fully agree with you.
yeah, this is
And as far as I can see, we have some other general chair with us. Stylianos and George.
That's right. Stylianos Mistakidis and George Koutromanos are in our audience today. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Perhaps if we have a minute here at the end, we can elevate you to the stage to say hello to our audience and give the pitch to come to Athens in June. Um, yeah, so this week we've got three different topic trends and a little bit different than last week. We're going to be mangling things a lot here, a bit here, as Tassos and I both have been doing scans on our scanning and reporting Discord. And we're both very much involved in both of these, but I really want to give Tassos an opportunity to highlight and showcase his expertise and the work that he's done in this area. So, first up, there's a scan particular to the learning sciences, and this kind of ties up in two episodes our three different foundational disciplines that contribute to the immersive learning trunk, the foundations of immersive learning being computer science and game design or user experience and the learning sciences. So last episode, we focused on computer science and game design. And this episode, we're focusing a bit on the learning sciences so that we've got kind of some good coverage in 2025 of those three main disciplines. So computer science, most people know what that is. Game design and user experience or interaction, a lot of people know what that is. It's not quite as well known what the learning sciences are or what learning science is. So I thought before we kicked off, a quick kind of coverage of that or sort of definition of that might be useful. So the learning sciences are a interdisciplinary focus on both the practical and the theoretical knowledge base that goes into investigating learning that occurs in a variety of contexts. They're looking for what really works and how does learning really occur, both in formal and informal contexts, and really draws, as a result, from three big areas. That is psychology for how people learn, how people understand. Neuropsychology and educational psychology are big subdisciplines within that. The cognitive neurosciences in terms of how the brain actually works in particular contexts. And then, of course, the teaching and pedagogies in terms of best practices, assessment, and outcomes. And all three of these areas come together oftentimes in a messy way, iteratively working over time to figure out what really works on location in museums and libraries. And this is what we call the learning sciences. Um, and Tassos, you've been quite involved in the learning sciences areas for quite some time. Um, did I, does this suffice in terms of just a quick overview, or did you want to add something, or what do you think?
Yes, I could add two, two definitions for learning.
Oh,
First, learning with a cognitive focus.
hmm,
Learning is an enduring change in behavior or in the capacity to behave in a given fashion, which results from practice or other forms of experience. And we have a second definition for learning, a definition as a biological process. So, the purpose of educational neuroscience is not only to understand the brain mechanisms that underlie learning and cognition, but also to study how learning happens, learning sciences, in authentic contexts, real environments, and to design learning environments and programs based on what we know about learning. So,
excellent. Yeah,
That's it.
that's very helpful. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you. So in this sort of multidisciplinary field, um,
Yeah.
which is part of iLearn's broader multidisciplinary field, there have been some advances in 2025. Um, yeah, there's immersive learning itself has quite a range. Tassos, can you help us unpack this?
Yes, yes, sure. My view is that in order to use any type of technology in education or any other field, we have to know and understand the technology's affordances.
Hmm.
So here we are talking about immersive learning. So we are talking about affordances regarding virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, XR in general. So we can see that, of course, there are similarities among VR, AR, and MR, but there are certain differences. Here we can see the VR and AR affordances. For
Hmm.
example, immersion and presence are quite different in these two uh, technologies, let's say. And participants act and behave in a different way.
Mhm.
So we have to, to use these affordances, these technological unique characteristics of these technologies in order to uh, develop, let's say, some immersive learning environments. So concluding, I want to say that we have to understand the possibilities and the limitations of these technologies in order to use them in education.
Excellent, excellent. So in the virtual reality sense, people are sort of surrounded by the stimulus, and they've got this
Yeah.
spatial three-dimensional representation that they're acting inside of. Whereas on the
Yes.
other end of the spectrum with AR, the digital content is superimposed over the real world, so they're immersed in the real world and interacting with that what's superimposed over it. And there's real differences in how that gets designed and people act.
Exactly.
That's a really good
Yeah.
distinction. Yeah. So the question is, how are immersive technologies being integrated into
Mhm.
teacher preparation programs in Europe?
Yes. Okay.
Um,
Uh,
well,
yes.
I actually before I said in Europe, I
Okay.
threw in there these. This is sort of from the global scan, and we'll
Yeah.
get into the European focus on the continental focus here in just a second. Um, but from our early scans, from journal articles and emerging technology releases, et cetera, we found kind of four broad trends from 2025 that we can say are early signals of what our scanning group has found. And these four trends are emotion forward cognitive design, where the visual, the narrative, and color is highlighting different emotional cues that are increasingly used to sustain users' attention, particularly in XR environments. And as many people know, people's attention span is dropping as we're more and more integrated with our phones and all these other distractions um, in the modern world. Uh, uh, People are more and more in need of those hooks and then things that will keep them paying attention. So, emotions and how people feel is one of the great ways of getting that done. So, out of Europe and even sort of around the world, you're seeing that this is an increasing mechanism by which these immersive technologies are impacting teacher ed. You're also getting scaffolding inside of immersive systems, um, for metacognitive and motivational regulation, not just task execution. These are being embedded directly into learning flows. You're finding these in particular in the Asia Pacific region. Adaptive feedback loops via artificial intelligence tutors. You're moving towards cognitive partners where these agents are acting right alongside you to model expert strategies, prompt reflection, and engage people in ways that are customized to each individual's learning profiles. This creates sort of an adaptive loop with the way that people are engaging with their environment. And those scans we found initially are coming out of both North America as well as East Asia. And then finally, to summarize learning sciences development, the contextualized practices that are merging physical and digital cognition. You're seeing, we saw primarily out of the Oceania, the Australia and New Zealand regions, where you're seeing growth in simulations and situated tasks where learners are coordinating spatial, embodied, and conceptual reasoning simultaneously. And this is helping people to deal with reducing cognitive load, understanding very complex environments, and situating them into contexts that they may not be as familiar with before they go in. So there's some really interesting applications there. Um, I think this dovetails pretty nicely with some of the things that Tassos has found for this episode in terms of immersive technologies integrating into teacher preparation in Europe. Um, Tassos, do you want to talk about some of these things?
Yes, yes. Uh, well, I think that AI-supported reflective practice is an emerging field.
Mhm.
And my view is that we have to use Gen AI and chatbots or agents, better agents, uh, not as tutors, but as agents not who, that change the immersive learning environment depending on the actions of the user. I think this is very important. Adaptive feedback. This is adaptive feedback,
Yep.
and the contextualized practice doing in Australia is really, really good idea on immersive learning research. And I think that I have something to tell about Europe, maybe in the next slide.
Yep. Okay. In teacher prep programs, is that here
Here,
or
yes.
here?
Uh,
Gotcha.
uh,
Yep.
Next slide, please. Yes,
Okay.
this is the immersive technologies in teacher training, not research, teachers training. Okay,
Great.
so I have circled some discs, blue discs. I don't know if we can. So please click once. Yes, okay. So here we can see the technologies used. Of course, the technologies are the well-known XR technologies but as I said before, we can see AI integration.
Yep.
We have to be careful about this AI integration, not just involving chatbots, but agents to do our life easier with these technologies. One
Great.
click more, please. The benefits. Okay, we all know the benefits of immersive learning, but the benefits reported in other parts of the world are the hands-on practice and the most important, I mean, and the reflective teaching practices. Reflection is very, very important, and I will tell you something about this later.
So
One click
teachers
more.
thinking about what they're doing um, before they do it, while they're doing it, and after
Yes,
they've done it.
yes,
These tools
correct.
can help them to shine a light on their own practices and do it in a meaningful and reflective way. That's great.
Yes. Okay. One. Okay. Now trends. We have some trends, but the most important to me
Mm.
are the efforts for a pan-European curriculum alignment, difficult but not impossible,
Yes.
and the inclusive platforms. Inclusion is really important for everybody.
Yeah,
Education
making
for
sure
all.
that all of the students in the classroom are being taught and
Yes,
engaged. Yeah, that is very important.
yes,
Right.
yes. Uh, Co-design is really important, and right now there are a few European Horizon programs running on XR designing environments that people try to co-design for education, combining artificial intelligence. Next click. Okay, recommendations. Recommendations. There are some recommendations. I think that the most important, yes, is this on the left, the immersive content creation. We lack
Okay.
of content. Okay, for example, in our laboratory, we have developed a series of applications, but these are mainly for research purposes. We need to have content for teachers and students.
Mhm.
We need to have some uh, repositories for immersive content.
That's
I
right.
know that you know and you're interested in this, Jonathan.
Yes, iLearn is actively working on creating immersive learning content repository. Yeah, that's very important. If we could search and find for the right tools for the right learners in the right context, I mean, that would be fantastic. And there's so many things out there, and you see, teachers struggling with this is the right content, but it's not at the level for my students, or
Yes,
this is the right sort of it's not quite customized for those. And if they could filter through those and match up the best possible, that would be wonderful.
yes. And saying content, I don't mean just content, but content combined with lesson plans or guidelines or something to help teachers and the students. And of course, metadata, very important.
Absolutely. That absolutely.
Okay, that's it, I think.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
now what's happening in some countries in Europe? We can see here some uh, courses, let's say, followed in some countries in Europe, and we can see that gamified education is something which is of interest, STEM pedagogy,
Mhm.
or simulations, remote teacher training, very important in this period of time. Of course, special education and inclusion, and teacher AI content co-design. And the following slide,
Next slide.
yes, please. Okay, here we can see some titles of courses. You can see some titles here, and let's say something about Greece. Okay,
Yeah.
we are a small country, but there are universities and departments that work on immersive learning. For example, in my department, we have the undergraduate course Emerging Technologies, which mainly is about immersive learning. And
Mhm.
we are not a computer science department or a polytechnic, but we are a pedagogical department. We are a department of education. So we teach emerging technologies to pre-service primary teachers. There
Excellent.
are two other departments in the University of Aegean dealing with virtual reality and virtual learning environments in undergraduate level. And these two courses are taught by Fokidis, which is one of the organizers in our Island 2026. And we have an MSc, an international MSc based in Greece, Immersive Technologies, Innovations in Education, Training, Game Design, which is mainly XR courses.
Mhm.
This is the University of Demokritos, and this MSc program runs under the direction of Yannis Kazanidis and Augustos Tsinakos to other members of ILEARN 2026 committees. You know.
It all's coming together.
Yes. So there are many courses, both undergraduate and postgraduate, regarding immersive learning
Mhm.
in Europe.
Fantastic. What
Yes.
about,
Now,
yeah, what
please.
about artificial intelligence and immersive technologies in the form of generative AI agents and chatbots?
Yes. Yes. Next slide, please. Yes. Okay. A small quick scanning in a European level showed that the integration type has to do with AI-driven personalization,
Mhm.
virtual teaching assistance, easy thing, learning analytics, of course, content generation. This is important to me. Content generation. We have to use AI for content generation because it's very, very difficult and it takes too much time to develop. We can have the idea and the machine can help us for this content generation. Of course, we can use AI for emotion engagement monitoring. And as you said it before, AI-driven feedback loops. These are the trends in the European level.
So you can really get a sense that collectively there's just so much work going on across Europe that's really going to create a completely different learning situation, learning possibilities
Yes,
for students and informal learners. If this stuff is right around the corner, you can really get a sense of a completely different world in both schools, museums, and all over the place. This is really neat.
yes.
Um,
Of course, sometime we have to discuss about the cost of all these things.
right, right. And how that's going to, potentially create sort of a new digital divide for those who
Yes,
have and those who don't have. Yeah,
yes,
that's of serious concern, and yeah, we need to keep track of that. We want to raise all the boats, and we want
yes,
to provide access and an equal chance for people everywhere. Um, an ideal, perhaps not never wholly attainable, but something I think we can make great progress at if we make sure that it's a priority. Yeah,
yes.
good point,
And
Tassos.
okay, okay, this is
What about
important now.
cognitive tools?
Yes. Well, we talked about affordances, technological affordances, but now we have to know how to use these technological affordances
Mhm.
in education. So we have to, let's say, translate them into learning affordances, because these learning affordances of immersive technologies imply the teaching and learning activities teachers and learners can do with digital technology. And exactly that's why we use digital technology in teaching and learning. We have to know both the technological and learning affordances of immersive technologies in order to use them in any field of education and in every level, educational level, from kindergarten to tertiary education. And now, slowly, we are going to talk about cognitive tools. Next slide, please. How do we use digital technology in teaching and learning? Yes. Okay, so digital technology, we all know that digital technology is not just an educational medium. It's a tool because of its affordances.
Mm-hmm.
And general affordances are that digital technologies can represent and communicate information in multimodal, dynamic, and interactive ways. So the best way to use digital technology in teaching and learning is to use it as a cognitive tool. So what a cognitive tool is? One click, please. So cognitive tools are technologies that support cognitive processes such as thinking, problem solving, and learning. So when we use technologies, we have to have in our mind that we have to use them for problem solving, to learn something, and help us to think. Yes, a click, please. So digital technology and in our case, immersive technologies act as cognitive tools when the environments they create, let's say, are created or modified or even used by the learner themselves, engage them into purposeful and meaningful critical thinking process. So we are talking about student-centered teaching, let's say, because learning is here. Okay.
So
Uh,
are these tools like all general, all-purpose tools that are designed for the learner at each level? So like say kindergarten or high school, or are they very specific kinds of cognitive tools that are used in different kinds of learning situations, Tassos? What
okay,
what's your
good
sense?
question. Difficult question. Uh, well, there are different tools for
Mhm.
different cases.
Mhm.
And
So so yes. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Right,
And
right,
for example, we have to use immersive learning when we need to do it.
right.
For example, if I have to read a text, a long text, there's no need to wear VR glasses and being in an immersive environment.
Right.
But if I want to be in a simulation, for example, inside the hydrogen atom or on the sun or on the moon, okay, then we have to use immersion and immersive technologies, trying to avoid misconceptions, of course. Misconceptions is a big problem in education, mainly in sciences, but misconceptions are everywhere,
Mhm.
everywhere. Yes.
So these cognitive tools, I can really, there's such a vast array of different kinds of tools that must be developed. And so you can see the need for teachers and the need for human guides to be helping these younger learners, as well as naive or learners out there who just adult learners who need
Yes.
help figuring out what the right tool, what for the right situation is.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah.
Thus, we have to be very careful uh, enriching a repository, what to put there.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
And this can help but by having such a thing, we can the field as well as the user base of these things can see what we want, what we need, uh,
Yes,
uh, uh, f- given these available tools.
yes.
So just in the selection, not just in the selection, but also in plotting where we're going forward for future designs. Yeah,
And of course, it has to be open.
that's right. If it's not accessible and it's not find if things aren't if it's not workable, then it's not doing
Yeah.
its job. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, in order to use a technology as a cognitive tool, we have to forget behaviorism. Very, very difficult. In my seminars to teachers all over Greece, I always say that behaviorism is written in our DNA
Yeah.
because we educate and we are educated by behaviorism, but we have to forget it. We have to use theories like cognitive or socio-cognitive theories
Mhm.
and their instructional models, for example, inquiry or project-based learning or group learning, and instructional techniques such as experimentation, project or web quests
Right.
in order to use immersive technologies as cognitive tools. Because, for example, I can have a really nice simulation in a repository and the teacher grab it and use it according to behaviorism. What's the usual thing? I show to my pupils the simulation on the blackboard
Yep.
or on the interactive blackboard. Worse, this is worse. And
Just judging
students,
from the performances of like what was the outcome,
yes,
what was the thing that they did that showed that
exactly.
they learned. That's not what
Yes.
we should be doing.
No.
Yeah.
So cognitive tools and for me, immersive technologies are together with cognitive and socio-cognitive theories,
Mhm.
student-centered models. Students are the protagonists.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's really paying attention to what's going on in the inner life of the student, how they're
Yes.
thinking, how they're feeling, what's their perspective, what makes them unique, and how do you draw that out? Um,
Yes. And these theories are saying exactly these things.
mhm.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Okay. Next slide. Ah, yes. You have to learn some ancient Greek.
It's all Greek to me. So
I know. It's all
I love
Greek
it.
to me too.
Yeah.
No, no. I'm old enough and I have taught this ancient Greek language. So we have to use learner-centered instructional models and techniques. Why? Because for things we have to learn, before we can do them, we learn by doing them.
Mhm.
Aristotle. It's not new. It's a very, very old idea. And because mind is not a vessel to be filled, but wood that needs igniting with urge and love for truth, Plutarchus,
Mhm.
later than
Mhm.
Aristotle.
I love
So,
that.
yes, I want to say that student-centered models are old, very old.
Yeah.
We forgot them. Piaget came, Vygotsky came after him,
Yep.
reminded them to all of us, and now we try to teach using student-centered models. And
Mhm.
I think that immersive technologies are the best technologies for these student-centered techniques.
reminding us again that
Yes,
of these old
yes,
wisdoms and standing on the shoulders of these giants who have helped us
yes,
point. Yeah, come back to the student. Come back to you know
yes.
understand the
Not
complexities of the
easy,
world. I love
not
that.
easy because not easy because I want quiet at my classroom. I'm the boss.
Right?
Don't speak, don't say anything. Do this and that. But this is not teaching and it's not learning. Learning doesn't happen this way.
No, no, especially with so many different kinds of people with so many different variables at
Yeah.
play, it's very difficult for one teacher to have so many students sitting at their feet and to always know what they need. And so
Yes.
these new tools are really helping us to finally be able to resituate learning where it
Yes.
really belongs. Yeah, with the
Yes.
student.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Okay.
What's next?
What's next? Let's next slide. Okay. Here we can see some examples how immersive technologies act as cognitive tools. Uh, we can see an augmented environment which help us visualize some invisible particles all over around us. This is dust or some microbes, viruses, so on. And the student, this is not the student, this is a colleague, my wife actually, okay? This is Joanna, interacts with all these particles and studies them.
Right.
In the middle, we can see a student with intellectual disabilities interacting with an augmented environment regarding the structure of matter. And of course, we use brain functions and brain mapping to study all these conditions. Uh, at the bottom of the picture, we can see Yanis Vrelis in the emitting some COVID-19 viruses. This,
Right.
so this is another augmented environment, and the users interact with these viruses. They can see and feel them on their hands and on the tables and so on, and they can sensitize themselves, let's say, about the danger of COVID-19. So
Excellent.
students, and students again.
So in these pictures, this is really in these examples, it's really great because I see a variety of ways that you've really focused on how immersive learning technologies can do things better than any other kind of immersive than any other kind of teaching tool. You know, in the example of your wife interacting, you know, there's a matter of scale. Like you, those are
Yes,
not things
exactly.
that you can actually see, but
Yes,
by blowing them up, you can see and interact with them. Um,
yes,
and then again, you know, by making Giannis I see down there is
yeah.
with the COVID vaccine or the COVID
Virus.
virus. It's invisible, so I mean, it
Yeah,
really confuses people. It becomes really
yeah,
abstract when you're trying to deal with something that's not even you. Is it even there? People wonder.
yeah.
But by making it visible, it becomes more tangible, um,
Yes,
etc.
exactly.
So yeah, these are great examples of
Thank you.
yeah.
And next slide. Oh, now, what about research trends, let's say?
Mhm.
So we have regarding immersive learning, we have affordances, technological affordances, learning affordances, and of course, we have to use the correct research methodology. And we also use neuroscience to study cognitive processes. So some research trends, my opinion is that some research trends concerning affordances is the presence research.
Mm.
We say that presence is contributes positively in learning, but now after 30 years of research, I'm not quite sure.
Mm.
So the present research is coming back again.
Yeah. What do you
Yes.
mean by presence? Like meaning that the learner feels like they're there? Like what does just
Okay.
just for the audience who
Presence.
might not know,
Yes. This is the spatial presence.
right?
I'm there inside the virtual environment, or
Mhm.
they are here, the virtual objects in the real environment. But there is the environmental presence, the social presence, many types of presence. What type of presence is fruitful, for example, in immersive technologies, immersive environments?
I see. So it's kind of a shared space where the learner is
Yes,
one of the identities within that environment, and that
yes, yes,
that has a powerful impact on people's capacity to learn.
yes.
I see.
And regarding research methodology, uh, not only but my group research team, together with George and Yannis, idea is that the well-known tool to study simulator sickness is not very good, let's say.
Hmm.
We have to do some research about simulator sickness and methodologies on how to measure simulator sickness. And this is a really good example to show the interdisciplinarity of our field, because for simulator sickness, we need to collaborate with psychologists, for example.
Yeah. So simulator sickness is that what is it like about 13 to 18% of people? Is that about right? The number of
Yes,
people that when they put on the headsets or another immersive experience, it makes them queasy and they really have to take off the
yes.
goggles or that's simulator sickness.
That's
Um,
simulator sickness, but simulator sickness depends also depends on the environment.
mm,
Yes, how rich is the environment? How interactive is the environment?
right?
Yes,
Um, one of the I mean I've got opinions on this and we don't need this isn't the space for that but um by engaging other modalities and stimuli sources of the body. So, for instance, by just putting on the headset, but then also putting them on a treadmill where they can feel like they're actually walking on that same environment rather than
yeah,
just putting all the stimulus up here and in your eyes and ears, but to give them that sense of body movement that
yes.
oftentimes tends to bring down that simulator sickness. Is that right?
Down or up? Well, I'll tell you a joke right now.
Yeah.
Right now, we develop a virtual environment to study temporal and spatial scales,
Mhm.
and we have simulated our solar system. Simulated means that we have modeled it firstly,
Yep.
mathematics,
Yep.
simulation, and after that visualization, because many people think that visualization is just a graphical representation, but not that one. Okay, so we represent our solar systems in a scale, but in order to reach, for example, Neptune, you have to walk and walk and walk and walk in our, yes, because too
Yeah.
very very far, yes,
It's
in
very
this
far.
virtual environment. And Mike Delimitos, another guy in our organizing committee, Ireland 2026 organizing committee, who developed
Yes.
this application, he himself feels sick anytime he tests his own system because scales, glasses,
Yeah.
walking, looking here or there,
Right.
turning, you know,
Well, I mean, they say that when you're out in outer space, that happens because of
yeah,
the loss of a horizon, the loss of
yeah,
grounding. And I mean, that actually might be a realistic thing to give people, you know, that's,
maybe, yes,
but I mean, you don't
yes,
want the learner to feel sick on purpose,
yeah,
but yeah, the verisimilitude, the match to reality,
yeah,
might be part of what's providing that. That's interesting.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and we're doing this because almost every representation, let's say, of our solar system is wrong.
Mm,
Not because scientists or engineers do not know how to do it, but they cannot do it because of the scaling.
right.
But we want to change it, and we try to do what's happening. And of course, education neurosciences is my love because we use EEG, electrical brain measures
Mhm.
to see what's happening in cognitive processes during XR experiments with our students.
Right.
And
So
this is
yeah,
a
you're
trend
seeing
in immersive learning.
the, these things are converging around the emerging research topics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Excellent.
Yes, thank you. And and here we are now. This is a well-known curve. Yes, everybody knows about this. And
The
this
hype
is from
cycle.
since January 23. Okay,
Okay.
January 23. And you see that virtual reality together, almost together with artificial intelligence, were coming. Now are in reality level downstairs. Okay, down there, and
Mhm.
they're coming and coming. So these technologies are emerging technologies, but they also are disruptive technologies, meaning that they offer us a paradigm shift. They transform education.
Mhm.
So we have to use it correctly. What is correctly in and our view is simulations, not just representations, to use the affordances,
Mhm.
to use them as cognitive tools because they are coming. And we know that they are here because of chatbots. Every student use chatbots, any level student,
Yeah. Yeah,
even
they're
pupils.
all using it.
So we have to be there.
Yeah, it's interesting the hype cycle, you know, a lot of people I think want things at that top of that hype cycle,
Yes,
and they're sad when things start to kind of go down that trough of into the trough of disillusionment, they call it. Um, but the nature of hype is that, you know, marketers are trying to get everybody's attention, and
yeah,
hype becomes completely unsustainable because you can't deliver on the crescendo of things that people are clamoring on top of another. And just because we're sliding down that trough of disillusionment does not necessarily mean that the technology is bad or that the technology is no longer of interest. I think so. As you were pointing it out, you know, we really need to be proving up this slope of enlightenment where the people who have always been working on these things are still there, and we're working on kind of developing what is the real use case, what is the applied use case, and how do we make
yes.
this manage that? And that is exactly what you and your team are doing, Tassos. So
We try. We try. And yes,
Very modest.
our students are digital natives.
Yes,
So they are in front of us. We have to follow them.
that's right. Whereas sometimes it's a little more difficult for us to take on the latest and technologies. They're right there, just gobbling it
Yeah,
up, and we're finding out from them about
yeah,
about what to use. Even sometimes within our own field, our students
sure.
are, yeah.
Yes.
And this is the nature
Now,
of these
yes,
exploding
yes.
areas. This is great.
You see, I teach in a Department of Education, non-science students.
Mhm,
And in this lesson of emerging technologies, we teach them how to use Unity, this platform, to build a virtual environment. But
mhm,
we don't want to teach them how to interact with virtual objects and the environment because these need code, programming.
mhm,
They are non-science students, there is no time, and so on. But many students show us excellent environments, interactive environments.
mhm.
Why? Because of chatbots. They wanted to do something, they prompted to the chatbot, they got the code, put it in the platform, and they developed a really nice virtual environment.
Yeah. Wow.
Non-science students. Yeah,
That's great.
yes.
Yeah, we need to meet them there, and yeah, figure that out.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
great.
Yes. Okay.
Um, we're getting to the near the end of our show. Thank you so much, Tassos, for this fantastic,
Really.
wide-ranging but grounded conversation in the emerging technologies related to learning and XR and immersive experiences. Um, I thought it would be remiss if we did not make a plug for this thing we've been working together on so closely with so many of our colleagues
Yes.
around the world, and that is this upcoming 12th International Conference of the Immersive Learning Research Network. It'll be held online and in virtual reality in June 14th and 15th. And then many of us will go forward to Athens, Greece, at the end of June, 27th through the 30th. And I wanted to uh, invite everyone to consider uh, presenting and attending, learning, and being a part of our our conference. I think the theme of our conference, right, from Plato's cave to open immersive societies, is something that we've been really working hard for this not to be just a byline, just a hyperbole, just a theme that we kind of want people to try to fit into. Um, Tassos and I and George, Stylianos, Daphne, and so many others in the Immersive Learning Research Network have really been working hard in terms of making iLearn this a model of this open immersive society, an open science, open design community. And we're really trying to time this so that by the time we are there in Athens and before that online, we have a lot of things that we hope to um, converge and really create this open, immersive society. And um, I'm just so excited for this, Tassos. And
Me too.
I have I have you to credit for so much of this, and just
Oh,
wanted to openly thank you, but also see if there's some of the folks in our audience who I know are also very much uh, to blame, very much to thank for this incredible thing that we're doing.
And of course, don't forget to thank Michael Hamaoka, who is behind all these things.
That's right. Michael Hamauka, our information director, our chair. Um, there's no way we could do this without him and his personality and his tireless efforts to help us make things happen. Thank you, Michael, for all the incredible work that you do, and the great charm and humility you bring to it. You also are just really the heart of iLearn in so many ways. So thank you. Um, yeah, do we have any? I'm going to stop my sharing here, maybe go to the floor, see if there's any questions. I cannot look at the chat while I'm also sharing the screen for some reason. Um, George says, thank you, Tassos and Jonathan, for the wonderful presentation. Tassos, you mentioned the need for the design and co-design of content for immersive technologies. Could you tell us more about such content, how such content can be evaluated? From your experience, what do you believe should be the key evaluation criteria? And also, what does current research say about evaluating content for immersive technologies?
Hmm. Good question.
Right?
Difficult question. Difficult answer, not question.
Yeah.
uh, what to evaluate? Evaluate presence, evaluate cognitive load, evaluate interfaces, interactivity. But as far as it regards content, my view is that we have to use the same environment and the activities in this to evaluate the learning performance of students.
Mm,
Because I think that content, academic content, because we are talking about immersive learning, so learning in environments. So I think that the academic content is evaluated with activities with this content.
that makes
What
very,
I mean,
yeah.
uh, yes, for example, what happened to water molecules when water goes from liquid to gas?
Mhm.
Many students think that the molecules are growing and growing and growing, but this is not true. So if we have the suitable, the appropriate learning environment, they can see what happened and they can answer to certain questions regarding the structure of matter. I don't know, George, if I answered your question, but okay.
Yeah, it is challenging. I know what you're pointing out there, that the simulation needs to align with reality.
Yeah,
So what you're trying to teach needs to be aligned with those goals and giving the students a sense of uh, how those changes happen. If the water molecule doesn't just like keep expanding forever, what's
yes,
going on?
yeah,
And giving people that understanding. I think from another perspective, something that I know a lot of researchers and people who are engaged with these immersive technologies, that when you have these immersive technologies and you can take data from literally everything that's happening. You're getting a snapshot of what's happening to a user or a learner inside of these environments. Um, you have kind of the opposite of what happens in the real world. Like when you're in the real world, if you don't think about um, what assessments to ask, you're not going to get it, right? If you
yeah,
don't ask a question on a quiz, you don't
yes,
they you can't get that answer. But in these environments, like you're swimming in data, and it
yeah,
becomes almost the opposite of like, how do I query the data to find out the answer that I'm looking for?
yes.
And I'm wondering if you could maybe expand upon George's question there in terms of how do we create assessments that answer sort of the learning questions that we would. Do you have any tricks up your sleeve, or how would you answer that?
No, I think there are no tricks because to evaluate content, we have to use open type assessment.
Hmm, I see.
Yes, m-
Gotcha.
meaningful, concern the specific content.
So in a way, there's a bit of design that goes into it in terms of knowing the kinds of questions you want to ask within the environment.
Yes, when I design an environment, I know everything about it.
Mhm.
Of course, the user, either teacher or student, can do anything they like. But
Right.
as far as I designed it with some learning objectives, they will find them, they will discover them when use this content, this environment.
Gotcha. So there's a lot of responsibility that's being put on the designers.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. We could talk for on and on and on, as we know, right? There's so much going on here. But thank you so much for your incredible insights and your personality. I love talking with you all the time. This is just great. This is the first time we've had this kind of conversation in a public
Yes,
forum. So,
yes.
yeah, just really grateful for your friendship and collaborative partnership, Tassos.
Thank you very much. I thank you very much, and thank you all, of
Yes,
course.
thank you, everyone. Thank you, iLearn Network members. If you're not a member, please come to our website and join us. Thank you for watching this on YouTube. If you're watching us there, and coming up next Friday, we've got another Innovators Forum. The time will be announced on our website and also on social media. And with that, I think we're ready to go. So.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you. All right. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye everyone.